That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a. I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. And thing sucks. 5, 4, 3. That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
Yo.
No. Welcome to Late Night Freedom Stream number 5. We have a good episode lined out for you. We got Leighton to my left. This always confuses me. And then Mark's down there. Today we want to focus on some local stuff. We have a really good guest lined up for you that we're going to get on the show momentarily because he's a very busy man and his time is valuable. But we kind of wanted to talk about local school board elections, and that's part of the reason we're having this guest on. Last year we kind of lost, as conservatives, we lost the school board. So this is a man we talked about last week. Named his page is called Queen City Watchdog. I would highly recommend that everybody follow that page to kind of stay on the loop on school board meetings and everything of that sort. You guys have anything you want to say before we bring him on?
Just thanks for coming on. It's awesome.
It's a big honor. We've been using him as a source for quite a bit. So yeah, let's get him in.
Yeah, bring him on in.
Welcome.
Hello.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, man. Thanks for coming on the show. Oh,
there we go.
Thanks for coming back on the show.
Hey.
For the first time. So we were kind of just bragging about your coverage and everything. And I kind of want to recap. Well, tell us who you are, what you care about, why you do what you do.
If anybody knows me or knows of me, I ran for city council back in 2021. I got active during 2020 with all the mask mandate and the COVID mania nonsense. And I didn't win. I ran a very conservative election, didn't have the money, but I was like, I'm not done with this fight. So I founded the Queen City Watchdog. I have 4 kids, so it's kind of shifted a little bit more towards the school board because the school board is it's a wild place sometimes. It's pretty crazy with some of the stuff that goes on there. But we focus on Greene County because there's not a lot of organizations that care. And there's not a lot of conservative organizations at the local level. So that's our focus is Greene County. And we just try to keep people up to date on what's going on, put information out there, kind of spark a conversation, try to get people motivated to participate locally.
Why are conservatives so ineffectual on the local level? Like, why are leftists so good at organizing locally and conservatives just, I feel, I'm trying now, you're doing your thing, but it is, I've seen lots of like defunct old conservative organizations that people tried to start in Missouri or in Springfield in particular that never really caught on. What's up with that?
To me, there's a few factors. The left is a hive mind mentality, and they will fall in line with lockstep. I mean, you can look at the national level. Kamala Harris called Joe Biden a rapist. She's his VP. They have no morals. They have no compass. They fall in line. And at the local level, it's that mob rule mentality. I've noticed that at the school board. I've been having quite a few jousts with the LGBTQ mafia out here.
Me too.
They're nonsense. But conservatives, a lot like me for years, I just wanted to be left alone. I want to live my life, make a little bit of money, maybe one day buy some land, do some homestead, whatever. And the leftists won't let you. And then that's coupled with we have, just like the left has, the traditional moderates, and then the nutbag left, what we see with like Ilhan Omar's and just the radical gender ideology.
AOCs, all that shit.
Yeah. Well, we also have that in the conservative spectrum. You have the establishment rhinos, and then you have conservatives. And there's the cliche saying is, the left and the right wing are the same bird. And here locally, a lot of people don't know is the Chamber of Commerce is the shadow arm of the government, and they want what they do. They want what they want. And as long as it's like I see, it's like when you're bowling. You don't want to go too far left. You don't want to go too far right. But if you're staying in that lane, they don't care. And that's kind of the problem with some of the conservative groups. And then it's that old school mentality. You know, they treat you like your kid, sit down, shut up, do things the way we're doing it. And young people right now, I've tried through social media, which is a kryptonite to conservatives for some reason.
Right.
It's a dumpster fire to some degree, but it's also an asset. I've tried to make that understanding to people, but they don't want to use it. They want to keep doing the same things that they did back in the 80s. Well, this isn't Reagan and Mondale anymore. This is 2020s now. We have all this stuff that we need to do. We have access and ways, and we have young people. You know, I'm not super young. I'm 37, but I'm younger than most of the people at these meetings I go to because they're all north of 50 or 60.
Right. And their kids are probably graduated at this point, too. It's like.
And they drive people away. That's the reality of it, is drive people away. And then I saw some of the video you guys did at the pro-Palestine nonsense.
Oh, sweet.
You have that BS going on at college campuses, indoctrinating these people and these kids. And I mean, I could go down rabbit holes with you about stuff, but
the same organizers that put on the pro-Palestine protest were involved with organizing the Pride event that had drag story hour for the whole city, endorsed by the city.
Yeah, that's pretty ironic. I don't think they understand who they're supporting, but
literal socialists.
Like, I don't think they understand, you know, like, no, Palestinians don't like homosexuals. They will kill you, but hey, good for you. Pat yourself on the back.
Well, that's the thing I thought was interesting. You said something about like conservatives not wanting to be online. And I think part of that is because the left, it does have like lockstep, and they will cancel you. They will
100%.
activate and they will come after you. So it scares people into wanting to just be left alone. You know, that's what conservatives want to begin with. But the thing that sucks about that is you leave space for all of these, you know, this ideology is so inconsistent that it's like there's not any adults in the room. You know, we need to bring adults back into the room.
They're children, and they also operate on emotion, and conservatives more operate on facts and logic. And we have to be able to strike those emotional chords, because you can, I mean, I've watched, you know, Michael Knowles, I've watched, I can't say his name, he's an Indian guy, Doja, I can't say his name. I've watched Ben Shapiro, I've watched these other ladies at these colleges, or Matt Walsh, and they get yelled at and shouted down because these people, they're just so in their emotions, using fascist tactics to call people fascists, which is the height of irony in itself.
Isn't it?
But all they care about is emotion. Like, I remember distinctly during COVID here, when it first started, you know, I was a CNA for 10 years, so I have very, very base level medical training and understanding of stuff. Also, I know how to read, so there's that. And I was like, no, I'm not wearing masks. They don't do nothing. It's done. I don't put a T-shirt over my face. It's the same, you know. Yep. You just want to watch people die, and they try to bully it for a very long time. I don't know how old you guys are, how long you've been watching stuff. You can go back to me before I was born, back in the 70s. You can go back, you know, 50 years. And for a long time, they would yell at you. They would shout at you. People, oh, I don't want to be called this. Oh, hell no, I'm not a racist. No, that's your interpretation. That's not who I am. You know, I could give you a random sample of people that you ask them about Michael Hasty. Some people will love me. Some people will hate me. And that's your interpretation of me. And for the longest time, conservatives cared. Well, our generation, you know, I was born in 86, so I'm unfortunately the tail end of the millennial nonsense, but I was at the beginning of it. We just don't care. Okay, cool. Oh, you're a racist. Cool story. Have a nice day. I don't care. And when you take their power, because they've had power in the words, and they've got that from the colleges, you shout people down. You call them a racist. You call them a bigot. You call them this phobic, that phobic, which they usually are misusing because nobody's afraid of these things.
Right.
Nowadays, like for me, I tell people I'm a punching bag because I genuinely, and I say it with 100% honesty, I don't care if you don't like me. I'm like beer. Not everybody likes beer, guys. And when we get moving into that mindset, that's where we got to get the older conservatives. But that's also where that's playing on the liberal game, because the liberals, they don't care. They're going to make what they want, and they're going to twist into the human pretzel to make their beliefs, and everyone's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think the point that you're making is important about like how they are based off emotion and conservatives are kind of based off facts and logic.
100%.
Culturally, for conservatives to try to play leftist games and try to be like, oh, actually, you're the racist. Actually, you're the sexist, but also when you buy into their frames and their worldviews and you start playing politics the way they play, you concede to their,
you can, there's a fine line where you can use their tactics without stooping to their level. We can strike emotional chords without basically just trying to degrade somebody and beating them into our line of thinking. There are things we can organize like a left. There ain't nobody that organizes like a group of freaking leftist college students. Dear God Almighty, ain't nobody can do it. And if conservatives took from that, imagine what we could get done. And that's I'm trying to make that happen, trying to get more people involved and more younger people. And we'll see how that happens. But
I think it's becoming more fashionable, which should help us and should help the country generally, because, it happens all the time. The culture shifts left, it shifts right, shifts left.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed people shifting right really hard, like all those people that were giving us grief about not wearing masks and not being vaccinated now are asking for us to like accept their apologies and be nice to them because they were wrong and we were right.
Some of them are.
Yeah.
Some
the
of
worm
them.
has turned on them. The worm has turned on them bad.
Some of them still aren't acknowledged. There's still people out there getting like booster number 57.
God.
They still are.
That's such a shame. I know you got a lot going on, so I really do want to zero in on the school board stuff because that's kind of your expertise. I want to talk about, because I went and did coverage of the Gay Pride event last year with the drag kids, and I think that this is like very kind of like it represents like this worldview, this leftist worldview, where like the Sharia Thomas Tate. This is my clip of Pride. This is her there. She's just walking around. And if I understand correctly, you actually did a lot of coverage exposing her at Pride as well.
We exposed the whole Pride event. A lot of people don't know. She, as you're probably not surprised, is a sociology professor at Missouri State. She's tenured. She has no kids, by the way, which is always something interesting.
Shocker!
No kids. And she's just, I know you guys are familiar with the Connecting Grounds Church, which in my opinion isn't a church. That's another topic for another time. But they're one of those woke churches. One of the woke churches, we'll use the air quotes. And she's big on the LGBT. She's on the NAACP board. She's friends with the candidate Kylie Sherwin-Wilkins, who is I call him the one issue activist that we've seen at the school board meetings. He's also a sociology professor at MSU. Imagine that.
What's his name?
And
I'm not familiar with him.
His name is Dr. Kyler Sherwin-Wilkins. He's been in a lot of school board meetings, basically telling the school board that if you don't put out a letter of support, LGBTQ kids are killing themselves.
Yeah,
well, he's in that camp, and she buys hook, line, and sinker. And that we're all this and that. She's very progressive. She's very racist. A lot of people don't realize how racist she is. She is just
Tate.
Oh, Tate is very racist black woman, and that's it's an unpopular opinion. People don't want to talk about black people can be racist. Absolutely. I went on hard on her because she and it's all over our public page and we have a private page we have too, but we put up tweets where she was basically mocking Christians because their faith was going to protect them and not a vaccine. And we got a video of her not putting her hand over her heart during the pledge, which I got that on the news because I told the news I wouldn't tell them where I got the video, which is really irritating. I'm like, worry about the content of the video, not where it comes from. But I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran. I served 4 years. I was in Iraq back in 2007 for 14 months. I was like, it's a respect thing. It's disrespectful, and it shows no unity. All the other board members are there with their hand on their heart, and she says, I'm an unapologetic Christian who only pledges their allegiance to God. And then I showed the tweet where she was mocking Christians. She's a hypocrite, and she's been nothing but hateful to Dr. Miriam Muhammad Khani. There's a clip, and I'll send it to you guys after this. Where
yeah, we'll play it on the show.
Miriam was this very upset. It was back when masks were still in thing at the school. She slammed her hand on this and said, "Put me down as someone who thinks student achievement should be the number one priority." To which Dr. Thomas Tate responds, "You're the only one."
Wow.
That's our school board member.
Wow. Like, she's literally just there to cause problems and make sure things don't get done.
She's there to push an ideology. She's there to push an agenda. Is that, the reality is it's a nonpartisan election, but the reality is the school board is just as divided as the rest of the country. And I've looked at the voter data, and we're pretty solid here. They're in all the different precincts in Greene County. There's only a 1% to 2% swing vote. That's it. That's the average. That's not a lot of votes, guys.
Yeah.
So we're pretty rigid in our beliefs, and she's one of those people that's in that leftist camp that DEI needs to be everywhere, that she somehow is a black woman that's got a doctorate degree, was elected, sits on a tenured position at the college making 6 figures a year. She wants you to believe she's oppressed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When she's had everything given to her on a silver platter because of her identity, not because she has any skills, any marketable skills.
Dr. Kyler Sherwin-Wilkins, who's running for school board, is a openly gay black man, married, tenured college professor in a red state who had a free ride to college.
Unbelievable, dude.
Talking about how he's oppressed. It's partisan. For some reason there's these people that are just hell bent, and they're pushing these ideologies. You saw that there was a vote. It took 3 times, by the way, but they changing language in the policy. I think it was something to do with the USDA guidelines from the Biden administration. They were trying to make the district believe that, and the people, we were stripping money from kids if we didn't put inclusive language in there to single out the LGBTQ community. And she was playing on it, and it was proven. And Kelly Byrne and Steve McCoskey and Dr. Miriam all said that's false. It's 100% false. And they kept pushing that narrative. And then, of course, the Rainbow Mafia came out in full swing, saying that they didn't want to feed people. It's not about us. It's about being, I'm not sure why that culture shift happened, but it's hit the school board where they're pushing this LGBTQ stuff.
Yep.
And
what happened all over the country? Like the East Coast and the West Coast got it first. And this is my contention with Springfield, Missouri. We will get everything but last.
It runs in. There's some kind of political theory. Everything starts on the coast and ripples inward, and that's a fact.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she's 100% in that camp. She serves on the board of the NAACP. Not surprised that a black woman does that, but again, an organization that's just hell bent that they're oppressed because of the color of their skin. And rather than being out there and saying, hey, there is racism in the world. Sometimes it is bad for us, but you know what? It's not bad for me, and I can show you how to be successful like me. And she's like, you're oppressed. Look at the white man. That's and that's what they push. And then they push that nonsense with the school stuff. We found that. Do you guys know what the Glow Center is?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Preach, dude. They don't know what the Glow Center is, and it's insane. It's right on Commercial Street.
They had a partnership with the school, and we got it.
How is that ethical?
It's not 100%. It's not. But we got that brought out. But yeah, we also filed a complaint with the AG on them because they were operating in dissolution for a while. I don't know if anything got done about it. But the Glow Center, who was, and she's Tyler
Ages
Sherwin
5 to 11.
Tyler Sherwin-Wilkins. Oh, that's not even the worst part. They did a prom, and Tyler Sherwin-Wilkins is actually the candidate is a board member over there. They had an event in Nixa that got shut down where they were going to have a pool party for 12 to 20-year-olds.
Yeah. What the fuck?
And you say grooming. Grooming. What the fuck?
You saw her there. That was her nonprofit, Ujima, Language and Literacy, that she operates. And we got pictures of the books and stuff we shared. We do a big old story on it. And I made it reverberate across Missouri with my reels and my reach I was getting.
Nice.
But she was there with her nonprofit pushing that agenda. Because why if she wasn't hook, line, and sinker in on this? I have a video of Dr. Thomas Tate at a drag brunch. Now, I don't care what you do in your private time, but what you do in your private time shows me who you are and where you stand on things.
100%.
I used to do security downtown. I've done the Get Dusted drag show security.
I performed at Get Dusted before I became Springfield's biggest homophobe. Before we started introducing kids to the LGBT community, I was down with adults doing whatever the hell they wanted.
Oh yeah, and that's when I tell people, like, I know what goes on there, and that is definitely an adult-only thing. If you want to do this adult, by all means, you go get drunk and give dollar bills to some dude dressed as a chick. I don't care what you do as an adult, but again, stay away from the kids. And that kind of, and you can see it if you watch enough of these board meetings, it creeps in. And there's been these talks, like, she's been an avid supporter, Dr. Tate, of giving a they've demanded a statement of support. Not sure what that means, but to me, that's the first step, because if any of this Marxist ideology and any of this crazy takeover stuff, it's they take a little, you give them what they want, they push super hard, you give them a little, they push further, and they just slowly inch to what they want. And that's why this school board election is vital, because we have a 4-3 split. The superintendent should never have been extended her contract, which is 8 times the average salary of the average family in Missouri, or in Springfield, by the way.
Wow.
Who
is that?
Dr. Gretna Lathan, and it was a 4-3 split. Tate voted to extend it. Judy Bruner, the new school board member of last year, voted to extend it. Who ran as a moderate Republican, and she is just a snake in the grass. President Danielle Kincaid and Vice President Scott Christ all voted. Dr. Miriam, who's up for re-election, voted no, because school board has been, or in other schools, we have violence problems. We have fights breaking out.
Oh, can we talk about that recent news? Because I've heard, you were the first person I saw cover it, and I've seen a lot of talk about it. And if I could, this is not politically correct, but if you're on Twitter, constantly you see videos of like white people getting ganged up on and beaten up by black people. So, I don't know what the ethnicity of these students looks like at all, but that was kind of my first instinct when I heard about the 4 girls on the 1 girl.
It was a 3-on-1. And what kills me about that, like I said, I graduated high school in 2004. So I was in the school in the 90s and stuff. Never in a million years would I have thought to fight. This was in the middle of the gymnasium at lunchtime. This wasn't in a locker room. This wasn't in the bathroom with someone holding the door. This was in the full view. They have zero repercussion because they don't care.
Maybe that is like a cultural thing, because I graduated in 2015 from Willard, and people would pick fights in the lunchroom. They wanted other people to see it, but they were always disciplined harshly, like OSS. You'd get out of school.
No, we never got. They don't do that at SPS. We have what's called a care room at my kids. My kids all go to an elementary school. I have all K through 5 kids right now, and they have what's called a care room. My one son had a kid flipping desks. They take him to the care room, let him throw his little tantrum. I call it a tantrum room because that's what it is. And then they send them back to the class. It's a way of skirting the statistics because they don't want to have the data that's like, oh, we have all these kids. And they say
that in Springfield public schools
happens here. And they say it's back to the whole race thing. It's because they don't want, they say black people are getting disproportionate referrals. Well, all the recent fight videos was black kids ganging up on white kids. That's not my opinion. That's a matter of fact. I've seen the videos. The videos have made their way to social media. There's a group called Springfield Public Schools Parents Speak Out page. It's a public page, and all the videos are on that page of these recent fights. And there's the beatdown. It's 3 girls and nobody tried to stop that beatdown. That girl, guys, I don't know how well you know about it, here in Springfield.
I don't know.
That's the school my kids are going to go to, by the way. That's why it hits home for me. They have reconstructive surgery on this girl. They crushed her orbital socket. They damaged her cheekbone. This girl refuses to go back to school.
Shit.
Why is it being publicized everywhere as like a little scuffle? You know?
Because they want to downplay it. Because if it looks as bad as it is, it looks bad on the administration, and it's all about optics.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
And if you look this up, the same school, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, this is really sad, a kid killed themselves from that school.
Shit. Yeah.
Was this Central? Or
that was at Hickory Hills Middle School.
Oh,
yeah, I think
Same.
you
Same
remember
school.
that? Late?
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about it, like the news or something. But yeah, fights like that too were always like big in my school too. But it wasn't never like anything where people were gonna be like permanently damaged by it. They were just like scuffles in the minute, you know.
Oh, these are like if you find the video of Parkview, the teacher went to the emergency room.
Let me look it up real quick. I'm gonna try to find it.
Unbelievable.
It's on Facebook. It's called Springfield Public Schools Parents Speak Out.
Yeah, see if you can find that, Leighton. That'd be interesting to see. We got to keep hitting some topics, man, because everything you're saying is gold. I really appreciate you coming on the show. This has been the most insightful interview we've had so far. You were telling me how close of margins we lost the school board elections last time.
Yeah, that fight right there. You can watch the
that
video.
video?
You can tell me. You can take what information you want from that based on.
Hey, stop!
Oh, damn. Wow.
And then the staff. I don't expect the staff to run in on there, but look at that staff member. You shouldn't have to do that. Look at that one.
I can't believe this is in Springfield, dude.
The Parkview High School.
Unbelievable. And this video has 2 views. Like, nobody's seen this. That's
I've
2
never
reactions.
seen anything like that.
I don't know if it's being suppressed or not, because that's a conservative page and they report a lot of shit over there being petty. There's another one. That one right there. That one is the beatdown. That's the gymnasium at Hickory Hills.
It would be nice if it wasn't in like 144p, but I mean,
Yeah, I don't know if I want to see it in higher resolution, honestly.
yeah, it's that's definitely nothing I've ever seen in a school.
It's crazy.
Kind of.
It looks, yeah, dude. That's what you imagine like a cell block looks like.
They made movies like that back in the 90s, like Troubled Inner City Schools. That's what they showed you.
Yes, and that's the Bible Belt. That is Springfield, Missouri's like answer to our metropolis area needing a school.
Well, part of the problem too is Springfield's the largest school district in the state of Missouri. We have 54 schools, I think.
I didn't know that.
5 high schools, 13 middle schools, and the rest are elementary schools. There's a couple schools that have like Hickory Hills is K through 8, and then Pershing's K through 8, and then there's mostly K through 5. There's a couple little like gifted schools and stuff, but yeah, it's the largest school district in the state of Missouri, and rather than being the gold standard and showing what's going on, we're not. Like, they had to shut down a school recently. Part of it, that Pershing school, they shut down the K through 8 portion, or the K through 5, and it's just going to be a middle school. Well, as Springfield's population grows, you know why they're shutting it down? You would think the population's growing, more kids, enrollment's on the decline. And maybe it's because the teachers don't feel safe. Maybe it's because parents don't feel safe. There's been a bullying problem that's going on in Springfield for how long? And then fights like that's crazy. I never saw a fight like that when I was in school.
I never saw a fight like that either. It was always like one-on-one, and yeah, it wasn't like
the craziest fight I ever saw was my buddy in high school, and some dude was like, "I'm gonna kick your ass," and my buddy is like, it was like a one-hitter, just bing bing, and that was it.
Yeah, those are the best.
And that was it. And then, boom, suspended. Both of them. It doesn't matter if you start. There's no consequences. And people like Dr. Thomas Tate, people like Danielle Kincaid and Scott Christ and Judy Bruner don't want to talk about discipline. What does it say about the culture when the school board doesn't listen and have the support of the teachers union?
The teachers union doesn't support the school board?
No, the teachers union, they brought up discipline. There was I can't remember when, but they brought up discipline and lack of, and I spoke at the school board. I call it lack of discipline measures at the school is what I call it. And
lack of discipline.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I called them out on it. But the president of the SNEA, which is Springfield's National Education Association, the teachers union, spoke about it, and then like a day or two later, and she had spoken prior to that meeting too. The deputy superintendent went on KY3 and Color 10 and said, "Well, we didn't know about discipline issues here at school. It wasn't brought to our attention." They willfully lie, and there's no repercussion. There's no one gets
Where are the adults? Where are the adults? Like what
not voting. The school board, the hierarchy is it's the school board. The school board sits at the top. They're elected. So if we want change, we have to get off of our rear ends and we have to get out and vote. That's why I'm helping on the campaign. I'm going to be door knocking. I'm going to be out there putting up signs. I'm going to be helping, sharing information as much as I can on my private and public
conservatives vote for come April?
The ones that I recommend voting for is Dr. Miriam Mahamakani, Landon McCarter, and Chad Rollins. Chad Rollins graduated from Glendale. He has 7 kids. Yeah, he's busy now. He's a really nice guy, but he has vested interest. Landon is a state champion basketball player from Kickapoo. His dad was a teacher, and he has kids in the district. And I think we need a mix of people who have experience in education. We need experience with parents because you have a vested interest. Mm-hmm. And those are who I'm going to be voting for, because I will not vote for Danielle Kincaid because she's a pretentious lawyer who has no kids. Why are you on the board? Scott Price, I supported for him last time, endorsed by the Chamber of Commerce last time. I'll get back on here. We'll talk about that sometime.
Please,
Chamber of Commerce. But he is a blowhard that will, he's like the leaf that lands on the river and flows with the current. He'll go wherever the majority is. He'll vote conservative. Sometimes he's blown over to the full-on left. He supported the language for inclusive language nonsense.
Mindless.
He is. So I'm not voting for him, and then I will not vote for the one-issue activist, Dr. Kyler Sherman-Wilkins, and I will not vote for Susan Provance. She is a coach. She's a Missouri State Hall of Famer. So that doesn't mean anything to me.
Is Miriam the woman that Thomas Tate tried to get kicked off of the school board?
100%.
Okay. Do you have time to talk about that a little bit? Because that was insane.
What that all was they didn't want her to be the VP because you have a little more sway and stuff. And it was a coup by Danielle Kincaid. And it was brought to the attention. If you paid attention, you had to, I watch a lot of these meetings. I don't watch them all, but I watch a lot of them. And in the meeting, she acknowledged that she had spoken to Scott in private about bringing this up. And it was a coup to get Miriam removed as the VP because they were mad. And all Miriam, there was the back and forth for a while. But
I remember the detail that I remember that brought all this to my attention was Sharia Thomas Tate had some kind of NAACP sponsored event with one of the high school, and they were having lectures for black students that wanted to go to that. And Miriam was walking around listening in on classrooms. Do you remember this?
No, that wasn't it. This was a presentation by Burrell Behavioral Health. So,
yeah.
And Kiki Rover, the speaker, who is really good friends with Dr. Thomas Tate,
of course,
got called out for being a liar because she lied to the kids to manipulate them.
That's what I was trying to remember. Yep. 12
emails warranted the response that we got. Tell me it wasn't staged. They had kids. I was so emotionally distraught. first of all, you guys need some hardship in your life, because if that bothered you, my God, the world
No
can
shit.
keep you alive.
And just for anybody that doesn't know what she did, is she went and observed a classroom, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but the instructor, the Kiki chick, had them put their heads down and say, if you ever experience discrimination because of the color of your skin, is that what it was?
Something along those lines.
Put your hand up, and only a few people in like a large class, like a normal large class, like 30 or so. I'm not certain.
I don't know how many were there, but it was not the majority. And Kiki lied to them and said everybody raised their hands.
And so all this woman that got in trouble did was say to the classroom of kids who had just been lied to, that's not true.
You got lied to. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Miriam,
that makes her a racist, I guess.
Well, since day one, she's wanted, student achievement on every level. That's what the school board should thrive for. Why would you not want your district? And that's why we're going to be starting a podcast and start talking about these things. Why wouldn't you? If you had a great school where like you have like 98, 99, 100% graduation rate, you got kids with the highest GPA at any district in the state, you have teachers lining up to teach here. Why wouldn't you want that? Instead, we have teachers lining up to leave the district. We have more vacancies this year than we did last year. The administration voted and the board didn't do anything about it because we have the 4-3 split. They did a change in they had a plan for paras and support staff and not like full-time contracted teachers, where the school took 30% of their paycheck, and over the summer they got it back, so they were able to have like a 12-month paycheck, so they got a little less now to balance it out for the 3 months that they were off. And it was called the annualized pay plan. And the teachers union, the SENEA, spoke about it, how the teachers were upset. They refused to grandfather anybody in. They said this is going to be great for the district, blah, blah, blah. And now they posted a bunch of openings because they drove off teachers by not listening to the teachers.
Right.
So we continue down that road of not listening, and Miriam has tried to fight for this stuff, and she don't get the support, because unfortunately, if we have 3 of 7 seats, what are we going to do? And the answer is nothing. We can't do anything. It's bide your time. That's why this school board election is pivotal. If we win 2 seats, 3 would be fantastic, but realistically, looking at this mathematically and objectively, 2 seats is definitely something we can do. We can get the majority. And that is what the process is needed to start holding the superintendent. Why do we extend the superintendent's contract? What has she done? She has done nothing to improve the district, but they gave her a contract. Oh, she's doing great. Great at what? I'm in the district. My kids are. I don't see anything that you're doing. That's why the school board election is pivotal, and we can't let any more. In my words, leftists. We can't let any more college professors, activists from the community who have agendas. We need people whose agenda should be academic achievement and student success. That's it.
Michael, I think that's a beautiful place to let you go this time. That was a wonderful summary, and it was a pleasure talking to you, man. Everybody go follow Queen City Watchdog on are you on
Facebook.
We're on Facebook and Twitter.
Facebook and Twitter.
Twitter. Oh, I'll need to follow you guys on Twitter.
Hey, let's have you back on sometime. I could talk to you for another hour, but I know you got stuff to do.
Yeah, reach out. Yeah, I love to come on and talk about some of the city stuff. I can talk, I can go into a little more depth on different things. Just whatever you guys want.
I appreciate you, brother. Keep up the good fight.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That was a pretty good guess.
Good score, Leighton. Oh, that was so informational, dude.
That was pretty good.
That was amazing.
Trying to find their Twitter. I'm sure I'll pull it up and I'll just share it out to people. But definitely a lot of pretty good info.
I went ahead and made Leighton the official producer, and he goes and gets us the best interview of the series so far. It's amazing.
It just
now
goes to show you.
Brittany Dyer, if you're watching.
I wanted to bring her up, but man, guy was straight spitting. I wanted to interrupt as little as possible.
Yeah. Brittany,
Mark,
we
what
love
were you
you.
thinking?
We want you on the show.
It just goes to show you, like, you know, we're amazed all this stuff's happening in Springfield, but that shows you how much more important your local elections are. And
Yes.
like, you know, if you're going to get involved in anything, get involved with what's going on around you, because that's what's going to affect you the most.
Before we went on, he was telling us like how like the margin that they lost by, and it was like 250 votes for one of the like was what it was for the Liberal to win over the Conservative in that last election. 250 votes. The population of Springfield is like 150,000 people.
Yeah, that's doable.
So doable. And it's important. These are the battlegrounds that we have to fight in if we want to see change in Springfield. If you want to, if you're not living in Springfield, if you want to see change in your city, the school board, the city council, we need to look into the Chamber of Commerce. He says that they're the shadow government of the school board.
In our videos
Catch
like
that?
that, like all those examples that we just showed, is that not like motivation enough to be like, whoa, something needs to change here?
Yeah.
It's such a big deal. And it's so bizarre too that like the media is the way now where it's like, why doesn't KY3 like cover this every night? Do they not care about the community? Why have I not heard any of this stuff? You know, I have to talk to an independent journalist in my own hometown that started his own Facebook page and mostly is just known for being like hated by leftists, probably.
Yeah,
You know,
a lot of controversy on their Facebook page, definitely.
what a great guy. I mean, that
Yeah.
was cool.
You
He's got 4 kids too, like steaks. And I didn't know Thomas State doesn't have kids, but like, of course, like, it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Oh man, he made me actually upset. I learned so much information I didn't know. Good grief. All right, let's continue the show. We're gonna get him back on because that's the kind of guy that you want to have on your side. Like people need to get organized, you know, like conservatives that we outnumber leftists in this city. They're just more active than us. And like, it's like he was saying, they fall in line. They'll go to the protest. They'll show up at, you know, I remember watching these videos we were talking about the city council last year when they were grilling the woman about the borough health thing and the lying about the hands. The like, people, activists, like LGBTQ activists and everybody, like they showed up. You could hear them cheering for the leftist speakers at city council while the conservatives had like a modest clap at best from the other conservatives who were there to speak. You know, these people support each other. Us Republicans, us conservatives, us people with common sense, us independents. If you're a centrist who doesn't suck, you know, we need to get together.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about that is that I think it's because leftists, you know, especially the ones that are in college, they just like have this free time, all this, you know, all they do is just go to college and work at Starbucks, you know. But a lot of Republicans, you know, we have families, we have jobs, we have other stuff that we got to do, you know, that doesn't involve protesting for, you know, for a country that's like 2,000 miles away, you know,
that would throw you off of a building.
It's like the definition of like, it's kind of like being terminally online, but you're going out and protesting, you know, like you just have way too much free time. You got to find a fucking hobby. Like,
well, when you say the word activist, immediately what comes to my hair is the blue-haired bitch screaming when Trump got elected. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really, but there are good operators and there are good conservative activists, but it's just, there's a lot less representation for us out here, I suppose. Like, I go on, Mark.
I think conservatives have kind of let themselves get bullied to be in this position. We've bought into the leftist terminology. Even in the way we speak, we're afraid to say things a certain way now. And we've just let them move the goalposts so much that we like can't recognize where we are completely.
That's right. That's right. The Overton window has shifted so much that and we've conceded. You know, and this is an interesting thing. I don't remember if it was Jefferson or who it was, but in like the in the Bill of Rights or one of these founding documents, they're talking about the idea of a liberal democracy is compromise. Politics, you're going to have to make compromise in politics. But the trick here is you want your party to get the other party to compromise, and you get an inch at a time, and you pull them your way. And we've conceded an inch at a time for the past 60 years to the left, where we live in their world.
Yeah.
So let's get into I'll pull up a couple of articles to get them out of the way. We have some videos and stuff we want to get into, but this is news that I want to document in the show. So I want to kind of share some of this stuff. Elon Musk announced on Twitter yesterday or 2 days ago that Neuralink was implanted in a human brain, allegedly, and is working. This represents the beginning of the end. We are in the book of Revelations. No, I'm kidding, but it's super spooky technology. I'm halfway kidding, because as much I always distrusted Elon Musk when he first hit the scene, and then he gained a lot of my goodwill for making Twitter a free speech haven.
He's
But then
based.
stuff like
He's
this.
based.
Say what?
He's based.
Yes,
Gave
but
him a
also
blue check mark.
he gave you a blue. Literally anybody can have a blue check mark. You just have to give Elon Musk money. That's not a
I'm willing
thing.
to give him my house, my apartment, my car, anything.
Well, apparently you can sell him your soul and, get put into the matrix, because this is transhumanism. And okay, so I could see some like practical benefits. Like, Mark, let me ask you this question. If we could make Neuralink technology that could allow a paraplegic to walk, do you think we should? Would it be ethical to allow that? Or do you think that it would ultimately turn into something evil?
I mean, it's totally ethical. Like everything they're doing, that's like, connecting people's disabled limbs through Bluetooth. It's like, that's possible. That's what's crazy. And
I'm not against that per se.
Yeah, that's all good. But when you get to the point where you're adding on to humanity, you're trying to give someone an ability beyond what is already like in the scope of, human ability. That's when it's like too much to me. When they start going into the brain, thinking about connecting the internet to people's brain, it's just like that to me. Like you're pushing it.
It's not that crazy. I mean, some people cut off their dick to be a woman,
I'd rather be a cyborg than a fake woman with a flesh wound in between my legs.
Whenever I heard about Neuralink, I thought of this video.
What do you got?
Google robot.
I'm from Google.
This is the future, people.
This is
The Matrix.
this is the future Elon Musk wants.
This is yeah, exactly.
Google, show me this guy's balls, please.
Okay,
Yeah,
here. It made me think of a video too. I got one.
Mac commercial.
We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man. Better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster.
That's loud.
Whoa.
Yeah, the future's here, boys. They've been talking about it in science fiction for when did Star Trek first air?
Jesse, Jade Helm is dead. Okay, it's not. It's fucking 2015, dude.
China taking over the military.
The Walmart's gonna close.
What is that? What are you guys referencing?
Jade Helm was like an old conspiracy theory. It was the conspiracy theory that got me into Pizzagate, but it was
Damn.
it was
Must
about
be
like this military what was it, like a training session where they were gonna have like a military like occupy Walmarts and shit, and like in certain states. It's fucking crazy. But there's like this YouTuber, High Impact Flicks, that like talked
Oh, I like him.
yeah, he's pretty cool. And that's what got me into Pizzagate was at the age of 15.
Yeah, that dude's pretty bright, and also he's jacked, which makes me trust him more.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody else knew him. I thought he was just some kind of weird small YouTuber.
He's been oppressed by the YouTube algorithm pretty hard. Like his stuff used to pop up in my recommended, probably like yours. But that you have to seek him out now. Like YouTube has unsubscribed me from his channel at least once.
Speaking of which, it's no longer High Impact Flicks. It is Here's the Deal. That is his YouTube channel.
That's right.
So I can highly recommend his channel.
Yeah, Here's the Deal actually is a good channel. That guy, I don't know if he's Christian or whatnot, but he's like, he gets into the weeds with some stuff that a lot of people, just like detail wise, aren't really focused on.
If you like schizoid conspiracy theories, go watch.
Well, if you're watching this show,
well, his old stuff was pretty schizoid. His new stuff's a little different, but
yeah, I haven't kept up with him. But
his old stuff is like top 10 darkest secrets that Walmart are hiding from you.
They actually have a FEMA camp underneath the Walmart.
That was in the
video.
What's interesting about that stuff is like these operations run like almost like 10 or 15 years before whatever they're practicing might actually be in effect. So like if you look at things like Operation Lockstep from like 2008, it's the COVID-19 crisis. It's like 100% they put these things out beforehand, and it's like predictive programming in a way, but it's like they're getting their insiders ready for whatever's happening.
Yeah.
Through their white papers.
Yeah, I wonder, we haven't had like I guess they declassified the aliens recently, but it's been a while since we got like a good like CIA operation declassified, you know?
Yeah.
There's probably one in the pipe. We're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's what you guys are doing? Makes sense.
They never released the JFK stuff. They said they were going to.
They're still waiting to release stuff for 9/11 too, dude. Let's get into some videos, huh?
Yeah. Which one do we got? Want to start off with first?
I want to show the follow-up to I think his name's Brett something. He's the guy who plays piano in Britain. What are you looking at? Get off the screen. You're fired. Okay. Oh wait, here, you're there. Let's start there.
All right.
Okay.
Don't play the whole thing. Let's skip to
Yamaka.
Yeah.
Now let's skip to Ben's verses, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like
a real rapper.
Now I watched this rap like not too long ago, whenever it was first shared. And I just have to say that like there was definitely a conversation between Ben and Tom where Ben's all like, so since we're rapping, I can say the word, right? And just say homies, okay? Let's just say homies.
On a legitimate note, though, how much do you think Tom McDonald paid Ben Shapiro to be in this video?
Bro, I don't know, because it blows up. It's such a mutual like relationship thing. Like it's a symbiotic thing.
But he flew him out. You know what I mean? Like I doubt that Ben Shapiro's making AdSense. Like there had to be like a rate, like a standard rate for him to appear and get on camera, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know who did it, because it's like they obviously got Ben Shapiro to show up, but then he's in his studio too. I'm like, what happened here?
Don't worry, Grayson. We'll make it short. I feel you, buddy.
Yeah, and Tom McDonald's a decent rapper, but like, and
I
even has a good message, but just Ben Shapiro's first.
He is a fake American, which is weird. I mean, I guess maybe he's an American citizen now, but it's like, I'm not even mad about it. Like if you're from Canada and it turns into a shithole, and you look at America and you're like, there's still hope. You're smart.
I think we should drop an ICBM on Canada.
All right, play a video.
Let's just keep it real facts. Don't care how you feel, man. If you want my pronouns, I'm the man. I'm the man who don't respect.
Let's look at the stats. I've got the facts. My money like Lizzo, my pockets are fat. Don't be a whack. Dog, it's a yarmulke, homie, no cap. Look at the graphs. Look at my charts. You're blowing money on strippers and cars. You go into prison, I'm on television. Dogs, no one knows who you are. Keep hating on me on the internet. My comment section all woke Karens. Then I make racks off compound interest. Y'all live with your parents.
All right, pause.
I just...
Okay, so
he
his rap
rapped.
ahead.
About compounding interest.
But then also, I feel like, of course, he did. It's Ben Shapiro we're talking about. But the things that I feel like he really missed the mark on is like, is this audience, he's talking to leftists in the song, you all live with your parents, or is he talking about the people who support him and watch his show every day? You're all woke Karens in my comments? You mean your popular show that lots of white mothers watch? Karen is a racial slur against white women.
And he almost always has a mainstream neoconservative opinion that's like, you're not pushing the envelope here.
No. I mean, he has some good takes, but
I saw this too the other day. Speaking of Ben Shapiro,
little bit. If
Yeah,
it,
Those liberals are.
don't get us canceled, bro.
I do want to leave with one last point. The greatest American value is vor. It's also a Jewish value. It's in the Torah. It's mentioned multiple times. Trust me. And we practice it every night in my home. My wife's a doctor. She vors me every night. How do we do that? She's a doctor. She has godlike abilities that you just can't comprehend. And it's worth noting that Joe Biden actually texted me last night saying that he's going to remove vor from America. And I was like, this is absolutely disgusting. This is anti-Semitic. It's just makes me absolutely sick. They will remove the most beautiful thing we've ever had, which is vor. Not even up for debate. It's the best thing we've ever had, and I just wanted to leave giving that a shout out, and just so that America's just remembers the true values of voring your neighbors. Yes. Any questions? Yes, you in the front. Hello, I'm a Jewish rabbi from Israel. I've pretty much studied and even interacted with people from every denomination of Judaism. I've never heard of this vor thing. Yeah.
But Ben Shapiro, he makes good content.
He's read with a lot of people, myself included. I remember when I first found Ben Shapiro when I was like 14 or 15 probably, and I had some childhood best friends from when I was like 13. I remember revisiting them for the first time in years, and we had changed a lot, and I just figured we all kind of changed in the same direction. I remember being like, have you guys, it was when YouTube's biggest content was like, Ben Shapiro destroys leftists, so it's just all those clips. And I remember showing somebody some Ben Shapiro and being like, is this not the best thing you've ever seen? Can you the facts and the logic, my God. And he's just like, that guy's a dick. That's when I knew my childhood friends were becoming liberals.
The thing about it is that I used to listen to 104.1 on the radio when I was a kid. And
nice.
Yeah, his show would play on there sometimes too.
I like Mark Levin a lot too. Another Jewish conservative commentator. I like Mark Levin more than I like Ben Shapiro probably. But I want to address Grayson's comment here. There is some debate about it. I kind of agree with Mark Dice where
it's the N word for white people.
White women in particular, where it's just like nobody calls black women freaking out Karens. It's about, and listen, okay, here's another thing. Karens get shit done. When there's something fucked up happening and nobody will say anything and some older woman gets indignant and goes, no, we're not doing that. No. Karens are heroes and we should venerate them.
Let's see what's next, Summer. This is something that Mark shared with us. It's a little crazy.
Yeah, Mark, set this up.
Well, I mean, it's just about like the schizophrenia that's going on the internet right now. Like anyone who's seen like the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce conspiracy theories. I've even seen some. The NFL is rigged.
A lot of that.
All this different stuff, and it's like kind of interesting. But this is like the only real aspect of that conspiracy theory. So let's go ahead and play it.
Let's check it out.
And the theory here is essentially that this sort of approach works as well with
we turn that up, Leighton.
Misinformation. It's important to recognize that this could be, this is an ethically concerning thing to go out there and to try and change hearts and minds. But it's important to think about how would we actually do this in a way that would work with people. So potentially as like a peaceful information operation. And I'm going to be addressing risks and concerns with each of the four main categories. All right. So the first one, that's the most famous and the most common, is working with famous people or main influencers to share information or a particular message. So I include Taylor Swift in here because she's she's a fairly influential online person. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's actually, this is a cropped image, but she's standing next to a "Go Vote" sign. And actually, celebrities, at least in the U.S., regularly will post pictures of themselves with an encouragement to people to go vote, and this has a measurable effect on voter turnout.
So pause it for a second.
When it comes to countering an
So, like, basically, this is an information warfare TED Talk where they're talking about what's called the Hegelian dialectic. It's like problem, reaction, solution, or how to control someone's opinion. And they're openly talking about using Taylor Swift as a means to get people to go out and vote, which, I mean, they've already done this. Like, she made some Biden cookies or something, and people were like estimating that it added 35,000 voters to, or something like that. It's like they were actually like using her as a way to try and swing an election, which is kind of crazy.
Well, that makes sense. Have you seen Taylor Swift fans? Like, they're fucking insane. They'll dox you.
Swifties are insane.
Yeah.
And it makes me think of what our guest was talking about earlier, where these institutions of power don't really care if it's left or right, kind of like bowling. As long as you stay out of the bumpers and keep things between the lines. I'm thinking of The Rock endorsing Joe Biden last election cycle. And then he went on Joe Rogan and tried to act like he's like a normal Republican guy, because that's what the culture is doing right now. And it's just it's scary how influential celebrities' opinions still are, especially when it comes to like politics.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the least informed people in the world, Hollywood celebrities.
The particular message, one needs to consider whether or not the opinion leader actually wants to share that message, because it may or may not be popular, and they may or may not know how to share it without accidentally increasing more misinformation. However, this is one that's a relatively accessible and understandable approach.
And just pause it for a second. This whole talk is like intellectual wordiness to try and like mask what you're really doing. It's like they're talking about countering misinformation. No, what it really is
creating misinformation.
Yeah, creating misinformation and making sure that people believe your official narrative, which is bullcrap.
Watching this, it feels like a woman is doing the 2070 paradigm shift. like
Sam Hyde's video, but less funny. What's funny is a lot of what might happen if we keep on the same route. There will be forced homosexuality in 2070.
But, I'm thinking that like a lot of his predictions may come true.
I know.
Some of them have killing the old people.
Yeah,
we're gonna kill them.
Canada's MAID program. I want to address the point you made about leftist organizations doing the opposite of what they purport to do. Like the ADL is the Anti-Defamation League, and all they do is defame people.
Exactly.
That's
all
it.
Day long.
That's it. That's all they do. Or like, or like, there's probably some good. There's other ones that are like associated with like the pro-choice movement, like, about like a woman's right, but what about the woman in the womb? It's just like it's always like 1984 doublespeak. They're trying to.
It's a self-defeating idea every time. They'll talk about, if they're talking about abortion, they're like, a woman has a right to bodily autonomy. It's like, oh, so you're standing on bodily autonomy as being the right that people have intrinsically. It's like, okay, right. You just made my whole argument for me.
Those are big words I don't understand. I'm going to go to an abortion protest and say that those words are too big for me. Tell it to me like I'm a 4-year-old.
They probably. Well, the scary thing is, I think we talked about it last time, but you see them with like their 4-year-olds at like pro-abortion protests, and that like how black people have the talk with their kids, like, listen, Junior, the police are going to racially profile you, and they're probably going to shoot you and kill you. So be afraid of the cops, instead of saying keep your hands at 10 and 2 and fucking respect the police and the kind of information that avoids you getting in a violent, potentially deadly altercation with your with the police. I wonder if these leftists that are pro-abortion give their daughters the talk. Like, listen, sex is good, and if you have sex with a man and he gets you pregnant, you don't have to keep that. It's fine. And it's not a big deal. Why do you have your kids there? Like, are you guys talking about that shit? What is going on in your house?
It's like, just like explain it to me like I'm the unborn fetus that you killed. Like, okay.
Exactly. My brain's not very developed. Maybe you could.
Yeah, got the little coat hanger, you know.
You could press on the top of my head and it would indent.
You press the soft spot on the top of my head, baby.
Grayson, what's your question, bro? Also, Leighton, would you look at would you get into Discord and can we take a look at that video Jesse sent us? Should be in the Discord. Take your time with this question, Grayson, really. We have a lot.
He's got a lot of questions. He should have probably made it plural. Where at?
He said it was to me. Let's move on to another video.
Yeah. What do we got next? Oh yeah, an update on the Chinese spy.
Oh yeah, this is fascinating. This is really good coverage.
Reported on the piano incident when a group of Chinese people in London approached the YouTuber and pianist Brandon Kavanagh, and they decided to attack him because he was live streaming while he was playing his piano. Since obviously we did a follow-up video where we identified some of the individuals in that group, but we have an update because we've also identified an actual Chinese Communist Party agent and spy right there in the background, as you can see towards the end.
It's the one handing out
that
flags.
woman.
Oh, I thought it would have been the one Napoleon.
The one that says, "You cannot touch her."
No, this guy. The guy. I thought it would have been that guy. That would have been the perfect cover.
That guy is not. That guy works at the airport, bro. Keep playing the video. This shit's crazy.
The end. Yes, we're talking about that woman that you can barely see at the end, standing next to the boyfriend of one of the girls who was in the video, who we identified. We can now confirm that that woman is in fact Christine Lee, who was actually exposed a while ago and reported on CCTV as an actual CCP agent operating in London. She even infiltrated the political system in the UK, as you can see on the left. This Christine Lee being appeared with Barry Gardner from the Labour Party, and on the right-hand side with the former Prime Minister.
Oh, wait, never mind. Sorry. No, he's pointing out the pictures on the left and the right. Keep playing.
With Cameron. Yes, this CCP agent was actually exposed by MI5. And of course, the cover was completely blown by Kristen Lee. And she had to go into hiding for a little bit and just live as a normal person in London. Here is Kristen Lee with her boss, President Xi, in Beijing at one of the official gatherings of the Communist Party of China. But that's not the main issue, because when you see the rest of the video from Brandon, obviously uploaded that, and they trying to take down the video anyway, you can see something interesting. Because before they started having a meltdown and targeted them, saying, "How dare you film us?" beforehand, they were absolutely happy to come forward in front of the camera.
Pause this video. Will you please, Leighton, go to Brandon Kavanagh's YouTube channel and see if he's made any updates today? Is that not insane, Mark?
All right, line art's looking pretty good. Let's use Jeffrey Color to bring it to life.
Hi, I think you're muted, buddy.
On this whole me?
No, Mark is. I unmuted.
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just like, is anyone surprised though that the people handing out Chinese communist flags in the mall were, agents of the Chinese government?
Right, but it's just the fact they tried to play the racism card. Here, let's watch his most recent update.
What's crazy is the reaction. I mean, they did nothing but create bad press for themselves.
Urgent request
like,
for
what do they
help.
think they were going to do?
For an update on this whole saga. The first update is Newton, my good buddy Newton, has started lo and behold, a t-shirt business, a meme t-shirt business with, guess what written on the t-shirt? Yes, don't touch her. I'll put so Newton has now started a side hustle selling t-shirts. That's the first thing. I'll put a link to the video about that in the description. And the second thing is I've now got thousands upon thousands of Chinese trolls coming onto the channel making these kind of comments. I'm just going to show them to you because I'm being inundated by these Chinese trolls. They all pretty much say the same thing. So I'm going to give you an example of two of them so you understand what is going on. Come here, camera person. So this guy, I can't even say that word, Baduko, at Baduko. I think this is some guy on X who's written something about me on X saying that I'm a racist. But this guy, Baduko, at Baduko, that's on X, Twitter, is right.
I love that they try to play American politics. Like they can cancel him from China, according to American leftists.
Yeah, I mean, just reading some of it, it's knows that unpopular song is discriminatory to Chinese people, but he still plays it repeatedly in public.
Doesn't he know the Boogie Woogie is racist?
Hold on, I'm gonna read the bottom comment. I don't want to steal from him, but
what's also funny, let me throw this in here real quick. I watched another video he did. They ended up partitioning the piano that Elton John bought and put in that airport that he's always playing. They partitioned it so nobody could play it, but people came to the airport and they turned to it during this news interview, and people are putting stuffed Winnie the Pooh bears on the piano.
Brendan Kavanagh is a racist, and the song he plays on the spot is discriminatory. This song is called Xing Xin Hanzi. The pronunciation is Xing Xin is very similar to Xinjiang. Xinjiang is racist. It is used by writers to insult Chinese people.
The logic.
What the fuck is this, username too? Like, it's just some guy that made like a
MK7U8ZO6W. Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds like a bot to me.
That's crazy though.
That's a fascinating story though, isn't it? And dude, if they would have just left him alone, I wouldn't know there was communist spies coming to Britain like that. Like if they would have not approached him, nobody would be aware of this situation. But they were just these people from China on a secret mission with some kind of diplomat think that they have impunity everywhere. They think they're better than Western people, and they think they can do whatever they want wherever they go.
I mean, think about it. They're the worst spies ever. They were supposed to be on this secret mission, and then as soon as a camera spots them in public, they're like, "Oh no!"
They look like diplomats, like representatives. Okay, you're a spy. You're a secret spy from China, so you're walking around with a little CCP flag and a red scarf and red boots and red lipstick, and it couldn't be more. It couldn't be less incognito.
I thought I remember hearing somewhere that it was it was normal in China for kids to shit on the streets and stuff. Like parents would just bring their kids over by the side of somewhere and just let them shit on the streets. But I don't know. I can't.
I'm not so sure about that. That sounds a little rich, but I know that there was videos in China during COVID lockdowns where there was drones flying outside of people's buildings projecting messages saying, still your heart's desire for freedom, because everybody wanted to go outside and nobody was allowed to go outside. And they they literally had drones flying around telling people to oppress the spark that God gave them.
Should we move on to our next video, or
Mark? Let's get into.
I've got to go soon, but I want to say something real quick about Grayson's comment down here. He says,
"Yeah, please do." I'm going to take a piss while you address that.
Gotcha. He says, "Why is it that trans people, when they feel like they're a different gender, take hormones to become the opposite of what they are instead of taking more T or estrogen to be their gender?" Yeah, if you accept their whole premise that you don't need certain genitalia or certain hormones to even be the gender that you claim that you are in your head. Well, if you accept that, then there's nothing you need to do to change your body if you can just be a woman because you feel that you're a woman. But I mean, they show you that by how they act, that they don't believe what they believe. They say one thing and they do another, which kind of shows you that they don't genuinely believe the actions that they're carrying out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like just like they're non-binary phobic, and I think it's a problem that needs to be addressed in society. Did you check the Discord, Leighton? Let me check.
Here, I'll pull it up. I couldn't. Did you send it to him? Oh, it's a group chat that we're all in.
Here?
Yeah, here. I'll pull this shit up real quick. You guys keep talking.
But yeah, it's just it's like I said, it's mental illness, and I don't know. I don't care what you do with your life, Oh yeah, here's the video.
They're closing the mall because there's guys with guns. People are running. Every door is locked. Is it close to here? Oh, the corner here? Right. No way.
Whoa, what the hell?
Yeah, I hadn't heard about any of this. It's ABC News reporting. This is bizarre.
This guy's got a gun.
Whoa.
This guy's got a gun too. Holy.
Being deployed to streets. Oh, it's a false flag event.
Oh,
Is what it looks like, right?
Oh, they just.
I'm glad I don't live in that shithole.
Well, dude, they just did the same shit in LA or whatever with the aliens and like hundreds of cops for like 4 people in a
Oh
street
yeah,
fight.
that was in Miami.
Miami.
The fucking 16-foot tall aliens or
That's
something.
an
like
art
that.
piece
Yeah.
on class struggle and the rich destroying the poor, essentially, with the governor of Texas, who's trying to fight the feds like a good little boy. I did want to talk about Greg Abbott, and that's cool. I haven't seen this picture of Elon Musk and Greg Abbott, but kudos to Greg Abbott for having a spine and taking on the federal government for the interests of Texans. That's bold and that's brave, and we love to see it, man. Good for Texas for getting yourself a governor who has some balls and can actually do something to preserve the interests of the people of Texas. I wonder why they're doing the little satanic hand gesture. No, for real though. What is the
Freemasonic hand sign?
Is that because I think that's the why are they doing that? I guess because they have
That's
their
their
thumb
gang
down.
symbol, Jacob. That's their gang sign.
That's
They
their gang
throw-
sign.
They
They're
throw
probably
that-
saying "Go Bulls."
I didn't realize Greg Abbott was in a wheelchair. It's crazy. He's fucking more powerful than any liberal governor, and he can't even use his legs. It's amazing. No, I don't know if he can use his legs or not. It's weird that he's read the white writing on the wall, Jacob. Yes.
Governor
Yes,
Hot
it's all a
Wheels.
show. Welcome to the show, folks.
Can we
You know,
call
every man is an
Lazy.
actor in his own way, and every man will play several roles in his life. Okay, and right now, Greg Abbott is playing the role of a badass. So I don't know, but that picture is kind of weird. I actually do want to look up that quote. That was Shakespeare, wasn't it? Shakespeare.
All the
every
world
man-
is a stage, and all its men merely actors.
So Mark's got to
They
go
have their
to.
exits and entrances.
Yes. Yes. All okay. So we're gonna end with this. After this, play the outro video. You guys got something to say? Say it
Nice.
before I read this.
Oh, we had
We're
a few
good.
more videos.
Yeah, we've gone. This is a full show. We'll get to stuff next time, unless there's something you're dying to get to, Leighton.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's just end the show. I forgot that we've been doing this for like an hour.
This is a good show. Really good show.
This is a pretty good show.
Okay. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. His acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant mewling and puking in the nurse's arm, and then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail unwillingly to school, and then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation. Even the cannon's mouth, and then the justice and fair round belly with good capone lid. Oh man, Shakespeare. I don't know what you're saying, dude. With eyes severe. With eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The sixth age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon. I've never read this whole thing.
I've never read the whole quote.
With spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose will save a world too wide for his shrunk shank and his big manly voice, turning again towards childish treble pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all, that end this strange, eventful history in second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Damn.
So, yeah. I think what
Play
he's
the
trying to say
outro!
is that people aren't self-made.
What?
I think what he's saying is people aren't self-made. They're characters, they're creations, they're creatures.
There does that. I feel like the 7, like, I didn't realize that there was that. I never had that, like, 7 stages of a man's life, and I think there's something to that, because we do kind of seem. I've hit a couple of those beats. I mean, I don't know what like the 3rd or the 4th one was. Like, some of that language is what the freak, like muling, like just like Shakespearean English. You know, this is why I read the NIV and not the King James. Sorry, hate me. I'm not that smart, guys. I don't speak Old English. I can hardly read it. But Mark, give us a closing thought.
You're beautiful. Good night.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Leighton, for producing. Thank you, Mark, for coming on. And big shout out to our guest, Queen City. Leighton, help me. Queen City Watchdog, for coming on the show. Until next time, everybody have a good night.
No, you can't smoke meth in the park. You're not allowed to crap on the sidewalk. Pull up your pants and get the hell out of here. And that's why we're hauling your tent to a landfill and cutting off your check today. You are a drug addict. Get a job.